Occasionally, sunlight would crest over the mountain peaks, illuminating a secluded village in the mountains. At first glance, this place seemed as though it had vanished from the map, isolated from the hustle and bustle of human activities. Untouched forests encircled it, and a grand vista of mountain peaks stretching into the distant sky unfolded around. This village, shrouded in a light mist, was so isolated that even the roads connecting it to the outside world were obscure, a tranquil place many hours away from the noise of the city. This unique geographical location profoundly affected the villagers' lives. The village generally avoided interaction with the outside world, preserving its difficult-to-access location to maintain a lifestyle deeply rooted in the gifts of nature. Traditional farming methods and hunting techniques handed down from ancient times were still in use, and the villagers utilized them to survive in the harsh natural environment. For a long time, the villagers lived in a time flow distinct from the outside world, living their lives quietly. At first glance, their life seemed utterly peaceful, but the difficulties of confronting nature, and the pressure of isolation and loneliness, constantly cast shadows on their lives. Yet, nobody could predict that their secluded lifestyle would eventually attract an unavoidable fate. The villagers, who practiced a self-sufficient lifestyle, earned their living mainly through agriculture and forestry. The cultivable land was scarce, and the crops they painstakingly grew were barely enough to sustain their families. Nevertheless, the villagers, despite their poverty, took pride in what they created with their own hands, and lived their days in a quiet, diligent manner. There was hardly any interaction with neighboring villages, and encounters with people from other villages were rare unless a significant problem occurred. The villagers maintained the village's order by isolating external influences, leading a stable life without being swayed by changes in the outside world. However, this seclusion created a divide within and outside the village, making contact with the outside world extremely limited. These tranquil days were suddenly shattered. One day, all the villagers vanished. It was as if everyone had disappeared with the dawn, and the only thing that filled the village was the silence where only the wind passed through. Understanding the seriousness of the situation, the neighboring villages contacted the police, and an investigation was initiated. As quick clarification was demanded, the police investigation team arrived at the village. However, there were hardly any clues in the village where everyone had vanished. Houses were left as they were, and crops waiting to be harvested were growing in the fields. At first glance, it looked as if the peaceful daily life was still ongoing. Where did the villagers disappear to? Why did they disappear? The more the investigation progressed, the deeper the strangeness and mystery of the incident became. There were no special incidents leading up to the disappearance of the people, and no signs of any disputes or chaos were found. Without any further clues, the investigation began to reach a standstill. Unable to determine the reason why all the villagers disappeared, the police gradually fell into a state of groping in the dark. As a result, various speculations began to circulate, leading the police to continue their investigation. The police continued their investigations, but still, there was no progress. While tracing the traces of the missing villagers' lives, from their lifestyle rhythm and daily behavior patterns, they tried to find some clue, but they could not reach a clear answer. As time passed, the investigation became even more difficult. It was unknown when or how the villagers disappeared. There were no witnesses, and no one who noticed any noises or abnormalities. However, the investigation team did not give up and re-investigated the entire village for any traces, but in the end, the police investigation did not bring about any results. What happened? What occurred? With nothing understood, the incident remained a mystery. As a result, not only the police but also the general public began to speculate variously. Many speculations began to circulate among the general public about this mysterious disappearance. Among them were whispers suggesting that the god of the mountain was angry, and these people's contemplations, based on village legends and beliefs, took them in unfounded directions. On the other hand, there were those who argued against it. The people who lived there valued coexistence with nature and led a life that never forgot to respect the god of the mountain. Terribly, this incident not only became a local but also a nationwide topic, with outrageous theories such as kidnapping by UFOs or aliens, and even a government conspiracy, circulating in some quarters. Among them, the most influential theory was that all the villagers were taken away to the mountain, or were abducted by a UFO. However, while these speculations were circulating, the incident itself was far from being solved, and the villagers were still missing. There were some who called for the continuation of the investigation, but where the villagers disappeared to, and what on earth happened, remained shrouded in mystery. Even as time passed, the villagers' disappearance remained unresolved, a mystery, and public interest gradually faded. Even today, when the incident is becoming a thing of the past, the truth of the disappearance is occasionally brought up in conversation. The houses left in the area are covered in vegetation, and their desolate appearance gives no hint of past liveliness. The village, once filled with people, where the sounds of laughter and arguments echoed, has now become just ruins, and is gradually being forgotten by people. Whether the villagers were taken away by someone, disappeared on their own, or whether there was a different reason entirely, the mystery remains unsolved, and only time passes. However, one day, a memo was found from the ruins of the village. This memo, which contained an enigmatic string of characters, if it was written by the villagers, might hide some message. However, nobody could decipher it, and in the end, it remained as an enigmatic string, and deepened the mystery of the villagers' disappearance. Thus, suggesting that this horrifying incident is part of a horror story to be told, and foreshadows the full horror yet to be revealed.